Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Facebook Live with Jeannie. I am Jeannie Nielsen, the card lady, and I'm very excited to be here with you today. And I did just notice, I think, no, I didn't. I'm trying to figure out how this is going to work. I think it's going to work better than it did last week. We'll see. I'm going to flip down eventually so you can see my cards. I am going to be talking about the Stamp Out Breast Cancer event. Now, the Stamp Out Breast Cancer event has been going on in Draycote, Massachusetts for 16 years. I only became part of it 15 years ago. It includes a whole bunch of demonstrators, Stampin' Up! Demonstrators. And when I tell you that it takes a village, I'm not kidding. We had 5 cards. Each person, each table had 2 demonstrators. So that's already 10 cards or 10 demonstrators there. There were 3 at the door. There were 3 sitting and taking money and raffle tickets and everything. There was Celine, of course. Tammy couldn't make it this time, but so many people. So it was a great event, but I wanted to push it a little bit further. I forgot to look online and see where we were. When I left on Saturday, we were at almost 14,000. Now, years ago, we were struggling to get to 7,000 and then to 9,000. But I think our goal this year is 25,000. So there's still time for you to do something. Anyway, I wanted to welcome you today. I'm talking about the Love and Courage stamp set. You'll see it again when I flip down, but the Love and Courage stamp set is the perfect stamp set. I believe it's an online exclusive, and this one is perfect for breast cancer awareness, which of course October is breast cancer awareness. But just so you know, not everybody has breast cancer too. I work in a clinic. We do leukemia, lymphoma, multiple myeloma. And you'd be surprised at how many kinds of multiple myeloma there are, how many kinds of lymphoma there are, several kinds of leukemia. So there's a lot going on, and there are a lot of people out there fighting. Not just breast cancer. So I want you to be aware, and actually the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer is part of the American Cancer Society, and there's so much going on the back end with American Cancer Society, what they're doing to advance the knowledge about, both for people that are living with it and dealing with it with family or friends, but also for providers. So they give rides to people. There's all kinds of, I think, Celine always tells us, look for 1-800-CANCER and you will be able to see all kinds of options of how the American Cancer Society can help you. But anyway, I wanted to show you the card. One of the cards, this was the card that I sponsored. It was designed by Celine, but it was the card that I sponsored at the breast cancer Stamp Out Breast Cancer event, and it's really beautiful and really easy. So I'm going to tell you how we made that. And then I'm going to show you the card that I made for the tutorial that goes to everybody that donates. I'll put the link in the comments later, but I'm going to show you a technique. And this is the card that we made. And what I wanted to tell you about this card, I'm not showing you very quickly because I want you to watch how I make it. Leukemia is an orange ribbon. I believe that lymphoma is a yellow ribbon. Multiple myeloma is a green ribbon. You know, breast cancer is a pink ribbon. There's all kinds of ribbons. So you could change out this card very easily just using different colors. So hi to everybody watching. Facebook has not been my friend the last couple of weeks, so I'm going to flip down, but who knows how it's going to look. I'm going to do my best. But anyway, let's see what we can come up with today. Let's have a good time stamping together. So I believe I'm going to try this. I think I have to just flip down like this. Yep, I think that's how I have to do it. I don't know why, but for some reason I can't go sideways. I can't reverse it, so I might look backwards. I'm going to try very, very hard to be in screen, but Joanne, I saw that you're watching. We missed you on Saturday. I think that you had a wonderful weekend from the pictures I saw from you, though. Okay, so let's get to this card. This is a really, really easy card. The piece right here, I believe is 2 and, you know, I was going to measure that because here I say it's really easy and I don't even give you the measurements. Let's tell you. I believe it's 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. It is. So this is your DSP. So easily you can swap out any DSP for this. So this is a really nice and easy sketch. 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So we're going to layer it on a piece of basic white that's 3 by 4. And then of course our outside, our matte, our colored cardstock is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So this is so simple. I'm going to show you a couple of things that I tried to pass on to people when we were doing the card on Saturday. So anyway, Petunia Pop is our color here, and it's a beautiful, beautiful color. And they have this new ribbon. Celine tied all the ribbons for me. Thank you, Celine. This beautiful iridescent ribbon is part of actually the Halloween suite, believe it or not. You can also get Petunia Pop ribbon through the annual catalog, but this is through that suite, the Halloween suite. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp first. And the reason I'm going to stamp first is because if I mess up, I actually have 4 options for, and I think I'm going to mess up on purpose so I can show you. I'm going to use Misty Moonlight ink. Just this is so easy that it makes it a fun and easy card to duplicate. So let's say, well, there's 2 things. Maybe I'm going to actually make it differently too. I'm inking it up with Misty Moonlight, and that's quite a bit of ink. So make sure that you don't have a halo. My fingers are always inky. That's not unusual. I put this on the block, and I always say that I trust the block. Did I put it on straight? Yes, I guess I did. And that's going to be right side up. So I want to do it upside down. Let's see. We're going to do it like that. Let's say I do it like that, and I really don't want it to be that way. First of all, I'm going to show you another thing. I actually do want to, this time, try it a little bit different, a little bit backwards, because that's the fun thing to do here. If I didn't like it this way, I could put my designer paper over here, and then I could try again over here. Let's say I don't like it there either. Well, you've got 4 sides. You can do it over here, and then you can repeat that again. So don't discount the other side of your cardstock when you mess up. The only way that's not going to work is if you color with blends, because they bleed through to the other side. So that's not going to work. But anyway, I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I'm actually going to attach this at the top, and we're going to lead this sentiment at the bottom. So it's a little bit different than this one. The sentiment says, friends don't let friends fight cancer alone. And I just love that, because probably the biggest thing is that people think that they're not understood, and they are on this journey of fighting cancer alone. And we're out there to tell them, nope, we're here for you. Might just be sending them a card. But if you know somebody going through cancer, that is the best thing to do, because they just want somebody to be thinking about them. They want to know that they're not doing this by themselves. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, I could put this in the middle. I could put this on the side. If I had moved this a little bit over, it would work better. I've got this ribbon, and I'm going to put that right over the seam. And I'm going to tell you how I'm going to attach this. I love doing this. Some people put down Seal or Seal Plus, and they attach it that way. Let me show you my little trick. This is what I do. I bring it to the back, and let me see where I put this. Right here. I always have washi tape at my desk, and washi tape is a repositionable tape. It's supposed to be primarily, I feel like, for decoration, although I use it to seal a lot of my packages. So if I'm bagging up a bunch of cards, I will use washi tape that kind of coordinates, because Stampin' Up! Used to make it, and I have a Ziploc bag full of it. But anyway, and then the other reason, or the other way I use washi tape, and I'm going to have to come up with a new system. You've probably seen on my stamp sets that I like to use, like this orange shows me that Beautiful Motifs has matching dies. It's a bundle. And then a lot of times the other thing I will do is this blue washi tape. This has been my code. That means it has a coordinating punch. So everybody can come up with different ways of doing things, but that's what I use that for. Look at this. I'm going to show you. I'm going to do this like this on purpose. But now we have our new envelopes. And have you guys seen the new packaging? It's a little bit different. Look at how, hopefully I'm doing it. Yeah, look at this. See, now this is, I'm covering it up too much. But because I've got washi tape, and washi tape is repositionable, I'm just going to move it. Just like that. Now, if I use Caron tape, I wouldn't be able to do that so much. So this is just another way, another method of attaching this tape behind. And it is usually acid-free. They make it specifically for card making, so I'm thinking it's acid-free, which means it's safe for card making and scrapbooking. Okay, so I've got my 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 inch piece of DSP on my 3x4 basic white. I'm going to attach that to my Misty Moonlight. So let me find my glue again. I am a big fan of the green glue, the Tombow glue. I use it all the time. Today I found out that I don't necessarily do the neatest job because I was doing cards for my craft along, and one of my cards has vellum. And if you join me next week, you're going to see all the beautiful cards for the craft along. We used the Christ is Born stamp set this month, and I feel like the cards turned out beautiful. And I didn't even use anything like embossing or anything like that, but they turned out really, really nice. We got some really cute, fancy folds. So anyway, I could put this straight down. I think this one, I'm going to do a little bit differently again. And let's bump it up. I've got my dimensionals here. And look at this. I'm at the end of my dimensionals. So what does that mean? Does that mean throw away the sheet? You guys hopefully know the answer to that. It's not my most fun thing to do. Somebody came over to help me with some swaps last week, and they took out a new page of dimensionals, and I'm like, If I can't use the new page of dimensionals, neither can you, right? But anyway, so this is what one of my team members calls the bones. So you cut it up. You can do it into mini size pieces so that it's like a mini dimensional. I really like these because they're thinner and they're really good like for behind sentiment strips. But anyway, so it does have its place for sure. But I just snip them and then I just add them just like that to my card back or whatever it is that I'm bumping up. So we call them bump it ups. But so now you have to tell me which one you like best, and don't include that because this one has gems, because I did forget to bring the gems. These are the streaked dots. They're part of the Autumn Twirl suite right now. I believe it's Autumn Twirl. I don't think it's the Gathering Moments, because the Gathering Together, the Gathering Moments suite bundle coordinating stuff was the Cajun Craze and Gold Dots. So this goes with the Autumn Twirl set, if I'm saying that right. From what I can remember, that's right. I chose to just add them, since we had these to use, I chose them just to add to a couple of my flower centers. So there you go. That's my first card. And wasn't that so simple? So can you see how you could do this with something else? You could use autumn paper. You could use Christmas paper, and you could just put a little sentiment here, just a little bow. And you know what? Celine sits in front of the TV and cranks out these bows. If you have a bow maker, they call it a 10-second bow maker. I'm not very good at it, and I don't use it enough. And I have to tell you, when I do use it, I usually have to go back to the YouTube tutorial because I don't remember how to do it. Okay, so anyway, that's my first beautiful card. So let me show you the next card. And the next card is actually going to be a technique. This is my next card. And like I said, this was what I used for my tutorial. I don't even have any embellishment on here except for the ribbon. And the reason I have a navy blue ribbon is because I happen to love the Secret C. But like I said before, breast cancer awareness is pink, so I could easily do a pink ribbon, and I could have a pink background here. So let me show you how I made this card. This is using the Big Sunflower stamp from Love and Courage. So this is the beautiful set. We've got the ribbon of hope, you've got your hearts, you've got love, hope, a couple of different sentiments. Again, I'm going to use Friends Don't Let Friends Fight Cancer Alone. But I did see somebody that used the thank you for supporting me through my battle, and they crossed out my and they said our. Because isn't it great? We're not doing this by ourselves. Just like we're not raising money by ourselves. Just like it's not my event, it's our event. So it depends on so many people. Okay, and then I love the sunflower. So let me make this card. I have to go off camera to do a tiny bit of it, but I'm going to show you how I made this. So this card, I should start by saying, is on a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock. I scored it in half at 5 1/2. And if you wonder why there's a basic white on the top and the bottom, okay, so first of all, it could be because maybe it's a bunch of friends that are going to sign the card and send it off to somebody fighting cancer. For me, it was because I had to hide a splooch. I did my card, I attached everything to the front, and then I opened my card and I'm attaching my basic white, and wouldn't you know that I attached it at the top. So there you go. Just going to say that I'm not perfect. Okay, so let's make this card. First of all, you need a brayer for this. This is the new Stampin' Up! Brayer, and you're going to love this if you do it, if you use it. Got a little piece of something on there that I'm going to try and take off so it doesn't mar my card. Okay, there we go. So we're going to use the Secret C ink. And you know what? I grabbed the Night of Navy rather than Secret C. Let me grab the Secret C. I had my first batch of the Craft Along here this morning. So I was using this because, like I said, we're using the Christ is Born stamp set. And we are using the Peaceful Garden DSP, and it's so pretty, these cards. I have a class again on Saturday. That's my last class for the Craft Along on Saturday. If you're interested, it's at 10:30 on Saturday morning here in Linfield in my craft room, which now has lots of room because I cleaned it out. Thank you to everybody that supported me with my sale. But anyway, message me if you're interested. And I have probably enough for 4 more kits. Okay, so let's do this. We are going to use the brayer. And I'm going to show you one more great thing about this brayer. What I'm going to do is bring on camera my sunflower embossing folder. There's a trick to this, and the biggest trick is do it on the same side as the logo. You're going to, I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to add ink here. These rods on each side are great for holding it, but you don't want to do it like that when you're running it over your folder. You're going to have to flip it over. So I'm going to add ink here. What I want to do is just add it to the whole brayer, and I'm going in the same direction each time and adding the ink. I'm kind of moving it because you know how any ink pad has more ink some places than other. This, you know, sometimes because people stamp in the middle, there tends to be more ink on the edges. Just a little hint. If you ever find that your ink seems to be really concentrated and you can't even make out the words that you're stamping with the regular classic ink, sometimes I will take a spoon or a bone folder. I have a dedicated bone folder that I don't mind getting inky with different colors, even though I try to immediately rinse it off if I can so that I can try it, because for some reason the bone folder really absorbs the color. This one has a tiny bit on there, you can see it, but not much. Anyway, okay, so I've added the ink, and oh, so what I wanted to say is push the ink to the outside. If you sometimes re-ink it and it's so messy in the middle that your words kind of run together, might be too much ink. And if you kind of, almost like you're icing a cake, you kind of move it to the outside and then you can easily control that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now ink my folder. I'm going to add this, and if I don't think it's enough, I can go back and add more. So I'm going back and forth the same direction, and I'm doing it here too. If I go back and forth, you'll see that what happens, actually it's not terrible, but what sometimes can happen is it'll pull off the ink instead of putting it on. So just want a little bit more, even though it's kind of funny that I'm doing this, because seriously, my card front isn't that big. Okay, let me move this off out of the way, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I've got my 4 1/4 by 11 Secret C. I'm using Secret C ink in the brayer, and what I'm going to do is, let me put it like I want to get the most bang for my buck. I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to close it up just like that. And then I'm going to run it through my embossing, big Stampin' Cut and Emboss real quick. So like I said, I added ink to the logo side, and that's going to bring up the ink into the embossed part rather than the debossed, which is the opposite. So give me a second and I'll show you what we're doing. Maybe I'm going to show you my sandwich when I'm embossing, because this is a big thick folder. I'm using the gray plate, I'm using the platform, and then just my big thick embossing folder. And just like that, voila, I'm going to move this out of the way so I don't get ink all over me any more than I'm already doing. Isn't that so pretty? So everything is going to look different depending on how you do it. So that's the first part of what we're doing. While this dries a tiny bit, even though I don't think it needs a whole lot of drying, I'm going to stamp my sunflower. So a lot of times I want to show you this. I just brought my stamp to my ink pad, but because this is a big stamp, the other thing I like to do is bring my ink pad to my stamp. So hopefully that's another technique for you guys to know. Because it's red rubber, I don't really feel the need to have a pierce pad, a Stampin' mat underneath me, because it's going to be okay. But because it is such a large image, I think I've said this before, what I like to do is pick it up. Oh, that didn't work. It worked beautifully, but that's not what I was trying to prove. I like to pick it up and I'll run my fingers over the center, which sometimes those little nooks and crannies evade the ink. So, okay, so now what I'm going to do, it doesn't really matter. Isn't that so pretty? It's one of those distinctive stamps. Remember years ago, Stampin' Up! Came out with those stamps that said that they're distinctive, meaning that it kind of brings out almost the, if you look really, really close, you can see so much detail of the stamp. So almost like a photograph. Okay, so what I'm going to do is fussy cut this now. I could do it with a round die, and I know somebody that came to my class and made this, liked that idea of using the round die. I actually think it works a little bit better, just fussy cutting it and going back and forth. But it's your card, so you do you. I have to remember that sometimes, or so many times I see somebody doing something in their business. I'm like, oh, I got to do that too. But the reason it works for them is because they are doing them and I can only do me. So most of me is time consumed in the clinic. Last week, I did leave before 7, my third day, but I left almost 8:30 last Wednesday. So I put in some long hours because if you know me, I don't like to be late and I don't like to sit in traffic. So the way that I control that is by going to work at 4:30 in the morning. I'm at the garage, which opens at 5. And I know that because I am usually anywhere from first to fourth in line waiting for that door to go up at 4 minutes of 5. Isn't that crazy? Okay, so what I'm going to do next is attach this. Don't you love the back side too? Now, there's so many other things you can do with this embossing folder, and I've tried to show a little bit. So I'm showing you how I did it with the brayer, but you can also use sponge daubers to add ink to those raised areas. How pretty would that be? You can color them with the blends if you want. That seems really intense, just a little bit too intense for what I think I can do. Let's see. Let's attach this, like I said, to the front. Let me get my glue, my green glue. You can see how I'm going back and forth. Wanting to make sure that, because some of that glue is going to sink into the debossed areas, and it's going to be a little bit hard to get it to stick. So not only do I add plenty of glue, I also do a pretty good job. Sometimes I have a friend that gave me a granite block, and these were granite samples when she was redoing her kitchen. And she gave me this as a block, and what I do is sit that on top of this for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it takes, just to get that to work. So you see, I'm not getting ink on everything because I've got it sitting on my posts here. I'm going to sit it on my post out of the way though, just like that. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. All I'm going to do is take a length of the faux linen ribbon, the Secret C faux linen ribbon, and I just added more of that to my order today. Let's see, I'm going to put this behind it. So this is probably where I am going to, again, use my washi tape to attach my ribbon. So let me just cut the ribbon length just like that. Hopefully that's enough. And then we're going to do our best. We're going to do our best and hope that I did a good job of guessing where the center is. And just like I did before, if it's not where I think it is, I can reposition it. So let's do it like this and let's see how I did. Actually, not bad. And that's incredible because that was just luck. Because I can tell you when I did the other one, I probably repositioned it 3 or 4 or 5 times. Okay, let's bring out our dimensionals again. We're going to pop this up a little bit. What I like to do also is add a little bit of dimensional over the ribbon. It kind of helps to tack it in place. So just another little hint. I'm sure you guys have all little tricks that you've come up with that have worked for you over the years when you've been doing your card making. These are just a few of the things that I have found that have helped me. So I'm tacking it down a little bit with the dimensional to hold that more in place. And look at what I'm going to do. See, I've peeled off the backs on all of these, and I don't need to peel off all the backs as long as most of them are peeled off. Those aren't even peeled off. And I'm just going to tack this down just like that. You know what I could do this time, which just for something a little bit different. What am I going to do? I could add some gems, but I'm going to use Wink of Stella, at least to the center. I'll just add a little bit of color to the center. And I've let that dry enough so that it's not going to make a mess of my Wink of Stella. If you do it while it's still wet, you can actually carry color from one area to another. So we'll just do it like that. Just a little bit of something just to give it some pizzazz. Let me show you the inside. I didn't actually grab my heart, or I didn't grab a block for my heart, but like I said, friends don't let friends fight cancer alone. I could put love in there. I could put hope in there. Since this is a hope ribbon, I might do hope, but, well, let me just move this out of the way, and let's just do something a little bit different. I'm going to clean my stamp here and use this block, and I'll just pull out another You know, I'll do it later. You guys get the idea. You know how to stamp the inside. So I will stamp the inside with my basic white right here. I'm probably going to say hope and use the heart for that. Or maybe another ribbon in Secret Sea. But anyway, these are my 2 cards. I hope you enjoyed this quick video and got a few tips. And I'm going to put the link in there to donate. We continue to donate and collect money. It goes directly there. I'm not collecting any money. You're not sending it to me. It's going right to the American Cancer Society, making strides against breast cancer. And I'm going to tell you that most of that goes directly to them, and there's very little overhead administrative fees. So anyway, let me pop up again. Oh, thank you for watching. I had a great time teaching you, hopefully something that you learned. If not, well, just thank you for joining me today. Love you. Bye.